Welcome back. In this video, we're looking at how to implement SignalR. And before we look at how to implement SignalR, let's understand some terms. The very first term we look at is a hub. What is a hub? A hub is a class that contains server and client methods. It allows clients to send and receive messages, also manages connections, users, and groups. So we'll look at how to implement a hub. And also we have the server hub methods. These are methods defined within an hub class and can be said to be a publisher method. And they can be triggered by clients or the server. We also want to look at how to create a server hub method. Also, we can also call them publisher method. Then also we have the client hub methods. These are methods or magic strings defined in an hub class and can be said to be a subscriber method. Usually clients listen for this method. Now that we understand the terms, let's jump into Visual Studio and let's see how we can implement a hub. So already I have Visual Studio opened. So if you don't have Visual Studio, just in the description I have a link where you can download Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio. So I'm going to click on create new projects, create a new project, and just click on the very first option, the ASP.NET Core Web Application, and click on next. And let's give this a name, call it Signal. Let's call this chapter app to chat app. Okay. And I'll stick with what I have there. Click on create. Select the very first option. Click on create. Alright. Alright, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to add the client JavaScript library that will allow us to connect to our hub. So now I click on the project and click on add. Let's click on client type library and we're going to select UNPKG, and right there we're going to search for Microsoft /SignalR. Okay, it's the very first one. So I don't want all the libraries, so I want specific files, so choose specific files and let's select this dist. And all I want is a browser, package. So we want specifically the SignalR.js. So that also include the map as well. So install this application. So let's install this. So take out the apps. So of course you can install this wherever you like. Install this. So click on install, and that should install the libraries. Let's give it time. So you can see the libman. So this file contains all the files that was installed in these destinations. Let's confirm that. So I go to web www.root and I check and see that's where. So right there we have our files. Alright, so let's add this to our layout. So where I have my pages, just right here. I'm going to add that reference to underscore layout. Okay, so just above site.js because we're going to be writing our client script right there. So I'm going to reference this script and src, and this should point to our library. So /lib /Microsoft SignalR distill browser, and that's the file I want to reference. You can also reference the mini file. So in production, you might want to reference the mini file. It's a minimize file. Alright, so the next thing we'll do now is we're going to create our hub. So far what we've done is we've added all the classes we need for SignalR. We also have to create a hub class. So I'm going to right click on chat app and I'm going to create a new folder that is going to hold, it's going to be a namespace that's going to hold all our hubs. So I'm going to call that hubs, and let's create a new class. Let's name this class. So I'll name this chat. So chat hub. Okay. So once we're done with that, we have our chat hub class. Now this class make this a chat, to make this a hub class, what we're going to do is we're going to extend the hub. So extend hub, and let's import the namespace. Now our chat hub, the hub class, because it's extend the hub class, so what it means is inherit all the properties and methods defined in the hub class. So now we can start defining our server hub methods. The very first method I'm going to create is public. We're going to have a tags. So it's going to be an async tags. Let's call this send message. Okay. Now this method is going to be triggered by clients. So clients that want to send a message, they are going to trigger this method. Now this method will expect the username. So assuming we have a chat room and user has to chat, send a message, they have to supply the username, and also would also supply the message. Alright, so now the next thing we'll do is we want to send that message to so whenever user triggers this method, once it's triggered, we have the username and message, and we want to send this to all the clients connected to that hub. So how do we do that? So we use the clients properties, call the all property, and that's so that property we call the send async method. So right there we specify the client method, which in this case will be the event method. So send message is the publisher method. Now let's define our event method, or the client method. So we call this received. So let's spell that correctly. So received message. And the next argument I'm going to pass in is the data I want to send. So in this case, I want to send an anonymous object. So I'm going to do new, and we're going to username, that's a property, and or user, that's fine. So username, and also message. So message will be equal to message. So right here I'm sending. Alright, so this is an async method, so you need to add a wait keyword just at the beginning. Alright, so right here we've defined the publisher method. So clients will call the send message. Other clients can subscribe to receive message. So all clients that subscribe to receive message will always get access to this data. So now, before we look at how to trigger this method and also listen for this method or subscribe to this event method, let's register our hub class with an endpoint. So back to my startup.cs, just right here we have endpoints. I'm going to add a new let's say, so I'll map that to endpoints.map. So we use map hub. Alright, so map hub is used to map a hub to an endpoint. So map hub, so right there we have a hub class called chat, so chat hub. Now this is a generic method, and it takes as parameter the endpoint. So I'm going to have this as chat, so you can call this whatever you like, chat, whatever you like. So just call mine chats or chat's fine, that's okay. Alright, so we've successfully mapped the hub class to URL on endpoint. So save this. Now back to my hub class. I'm also going to save this as well too. Alright, now let's look at how to trigger this. Okay, so earlier on we added a reference to SignalR JavaScript file that we need right here, underscore layout, just underscore layout, so you can see what I have there. So all my result pages, example index, you can see they all would use this as a page layout, so we'll have access to the script. Okay, so there's a slight problem right there. Let's fix that. So we have so we're missing a closing tag right there. Let's close that script. JavaScript. Alright, so we're done with that. Alright, so the next thing we'll do now is let's open up this file, site.js. So right there, we're going to connect our hub, then subscribe to our event method, and also look at how we can trigger our server hub method. So I go to www.roots, where I have my JS. I can see my site address. You can also search for it as well too. I'll click right there. So the very first thing we'll do is we're going to create an object of SignalR. So we're going to have connection variable. So create a new object, SignalR. Alright, so ignore this because already we've added that to our underscore layout CS HTML. So I'm going to take that out. So new SignalR, and have hub connection builder with URL. Right in there, I'll supply the URL. So remember, we created the map.chat hub to a URL within our startup.cs. So the URL, we mapped it to a /chats. So back to site.js, I'll write that there, /chats.build. So this should build return an object, connection object for us. So we can connect to this endpoint. So how do we do that? So we use the variable, so dots, and we call the method start. So this should connect. I want to listen for success, failure. So dots start method returns the promise object. So we can use it then. So let's just do console log right there. Console log. Alright. It's just connected. Connected right there. So let's also catch any errors. If eventually we have an error, so catch right in the error, and console that log right in there. We're gonna have, let's have the error. Alright, so let's have a comment. So let's connect to hub. Okay, now this connects to the hub. Now the next thing we'll do is we're going to subscribe to an event. You can do that. So have connection.on. So right here we specify the client's method or the event method we want to subscribe to. So you check the hub class, chat hub, see we define publisher method. Right in there we have event method receive message. So we can subscribe to this. So back to site.js. So received message. Okay. So subscribe to this and get back data. So next argument is where you can get the data. So you can call this whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to call mine data, and right there I can do whatever I need to do with that data. So I can use my data here. So we'll come back to this briefly. Alright, so so let's go through this quickly. So right here, the very first thing we have right there, create an object, connection object. And the second line I have right there, line 5 all through line 7. So we connect the hub, then we'll be listening for, then we can check if we're connected or if there's an error. So the very other line 11 all through line 15. So you can see what we're doing right there is we're subscribing to events. So we can have a comment there, subscribe to an event method or an event. Okay. Alright. So of course the very last thing we're going to do is trigger. So we can trigger server method from our client. So let's look at how to go about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a form. In that form, we're going to send a message. And once we click on the button, then we can trigger a function. So let's just create that function. Let's call it send. So send. Alright, so before we look at this, let's go create that form. So open up your index. So if it's not open, what you could do is you can access that from here. That's index.css. That's right there. Alright, so let's get rid of this. Get rid of all this actually. Just have a container. So div simple form plus container right there. Okay, so right in there I'm gonna have some simple div. Just make it a little bit fancy. Okay. Okay, div. There's just 10, and I'm gonna have 2 right there. Let's keep it very simple. All right, so right in there, let's define some phone group. So plus, I'm gonna have this as it's a phone group. It's a phone group. All right. So impute and plus control. Give us a name, type actually, and the type gonna be a text, a name. All this is a name. All right. So for time's sake, I'm just gonna copy this. Let's add a label. Label. Something very simple. Right in there. Say enter name. Enter name. Okay. All right. Copy that. Paste right there. Enter message. Okay. So what is the text area right there? So please what I have there. And then the text area. Close that. And name. Let's have this as MSG. And finally, I'm gonna have a button. So let's have a simple button. Okay. A little fancy. Let's give it a class. Some fancy BTN. Okay. BTN primary. And send. Okay, perfect. So the goal for us is the user enters the name, message, and sends that message. So we'll define an event, some click event, some click, and we'll call a method that will define. We'll define in our JavaScript. We're going to implement this briefly. So once user calls the send method, we're going to send this message to our server end. All right, so back to SignalR. So right in here, what we're gonna do right there is find some variables. So let's call this user element. Username is fine. So document get as you create selector. So create selector. Now I'm going to select by attribute. So name. Username. Okay. Also select message. So I'll query that and also select the body. Let's just do that quickly. So message as well. Documents to create selector, and also select by attribute. So name, let's have this as message dot value lemon value. All right, so now before I send this message or trigger a server method, I want to make sure that these two arguments. Alright, so what we'll do right there now is check this variables. So if they're not null, so in essence, if I don't have an empty string, then we can invoke the server method. So what we'll do right there is we'll have an if statement. So so right in there we'll have username. The username not equal to an empty string, and also message not equal to an empty string. Then we can go ahead and invoke the server method. So in our chat hub, we created a method called send message. Now I want to trigger this method from our client's code. Right in there, we're going to have a connection, which we define right up right there. Connection dot call the invoke method. And right in there, we can pass in the method we want to invoke. So in this case, we want to invoke send message method. Send message, and we can pass in username and message. So while we're doing that, you can see that based on our definition, we expected to pass in the username and the message. So we'll do the same right here as well too. So we'll have username, and also we'll have message. Okay. All right. So let's get rid of this. Okay. Okay. So let's also add the catch. So we want to catch. So in case we have any error, we can catch that error right here. So let's just console log that as well. Console the log. Right in there, we can log the error. Alright, so we're done with this. Done with this bit. So back right here. So once the trigger that message, we want to catch the data right here. So we can use our data. So what I'm going to do right there is go back to index, and already we have a form, and also I want to display the message. So let's define a div right there, and this div is going to hold our message. So div, okay. Okay, so right in there, let's have a UL. Let's have a UL. I'll give us a class. Let's call that message. Okay. Messages, whatever. Okay, that's okay. So back to SignalR. Let's grab that. Message. So document. Create selector. So right in there, we're going to grab by. Let's grab that by. Okay, so I'll change this to ID. Let's grab by its ID. Back right here. So we have it as message. Now let's define a list item. So LIEL. So let's rename this to EL. That's fine. So EL. And I'm going to create a new element. So document.create element. Let's create LI. Okay. So LI. That's inner HTML or inner text, if you prefer. And we'll set this to username. Okay. So username username. Okay, so username is right in there. So data. So data. Remember we're sending data. Data is an object that has property username and message. So when it says username right there, then the message when sent. Okay, so I have data.message. Okay, so this should be inner HTML, and you can have message dot pen child pending. So what this does is adds this list element to the end. So what it does is it adds this list element to the end of this element. So I'm gonna add li right there, and that's it. So what we've done in a nutshell is we've been able to create a connection object, and right there start the connection, listen on a particular method, and right here we're triggering. Right here we're triggering our server side method. All right, so with that said, let's try what we've done so far and see it works fine. So I'm going to click on this button. That should build our project. And let's see what we have there. Right, that's fine. So I'm going to bring up my console. Let's see. So connected successfully. That's very fine. Okay. So I'm going to add enter username, say Henry, and send that. Okay. So we don't get any response back. Let's look at that and see why. So send a response. Alright, so back to Visual Studio. Let's see what we have that issue. So let's see. Oh no. Okay, so send receive. Alright, so let's do a console log. So do a console log data, and also looking at this query selector, it should be an ID. Let's confirm that. So check in index, see we gave this an ID of messages. So right there we'll add the hash to hash. Okay, and what we're expecting, let's confirm. So like check chat hub, expecting this object and property username, message, password. So back right there, site address, it should be data user, data message. Alright, so I'm going to just stop what I have stopped this, and I'm going to run this again one more time. This button, and alright, let's try this. Let's bring up the console. And right, Henry, hello, send, and have username Henry, hello. You can see also we also get the data console. So let's do this. I'm going to create a new tab, and let's bring this out. Okay, so this is the very first tab. Just going to minimize this. And second tab, okay, let's create a new tab. So copy this, we start paste that right there, enter, and we'll bring out this tab just on the side. It's two different tabs. All right, So, hello Henry, write my name right there. Let's write John. Hi, send that, and you can see what I have there. So it says hi from John and hello from Mark. Okay, so let's refresh this and try that one more time. So refresh, and let's have Henry say hello. Send that. See, it shows right there. And so John will be hi, and we have that right there. So it works pretty fine. So it's just a basic example. So I'm gonna end the video right here. Our next video we'll look at how to trigger the server method using our server-side code. Stay tuned.